Hello everybody and welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I'm Jason. This would be Freya, our fuzzy mascot slash host. And today I am bringing you an episode on another fantasy author and another fantasy book. We've actually talked about this author before on one of our lists. Now I just want to talk about one of his books. And I'm going to break this down into 4 different things I talk about. I'm going to talk about the world, I'm going to talk about the characters, I'm going to talk about the plot, and I'm going to talk about the writing. So, here we go. The author I'm talking about is John Ringo. John Ringo, who mostly writes science fiction and usually military science fiction because that's kind of his specialty. He's got some co-authors and friends that are multiple PhDs. He's a military veteran, so that's kind of his specialty. But he did delve somewhat into fantasy, but it's more science fiction, fantasy type. And it was one of his many series. I can't remember if there's 3 or 4 books to the series, but book 1 is called Here There Be Dragons. Here There Be Dragons. I don't remember how many years ago I read this book, but it's a fantastic book. I've read the whole series multiple times, but I didn't keep getting so caught up with other newer books or newer authors. I'd still be reading it. I have a very long list of books that I keep meaning to reread. So Here There Be Dragons, fantasy-ish novel. It's science fiction, but the way he does it ends up making it more fantasy, as in swords and I won't say sorcery, but swords and medieval adjacent type of thing. So the world is our world. It's actually our world in the future, Earth in the future, in the far future. Earth has reached the point where almost a world government, where they're basically in the utopia. They're in the Star Trek type of utopia where they can have anything, they can do anything. Basically where technology is magic. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. They've reached that point. They did it via nanomachines. Nanites are basically what drives the world at this point. They even talk about things like how the population is declining because there's no incentive, because nobody has to work. They can have whatever they want. People can do whatever they want thanks to the nanites. They can change their bodies. They can do surgery on the spot. They can do anything. The nanites permeate the entire world and has an AI that controls all of it. So that is the world. Our far future with a heavy nanite field, I suppose you could say, that can basically literally control everything. So the characters, there's really 2 primary characters. You've got Edmund, who is you'd almost call him, I guess, in the medieval adjacent period that they eventually reach, he is a duke, so he is nobility. In the previous world, in the utopia world, he was a medieval reenactor. He was a blacksmith. He actually would make his own armor, make his own weapons. He kind of specialized in those weapons. This world, well, I'll get to the world. No, I already talked about the world. So this world, while it was still a utopia, it actually had one area of the world, they never really say if it's a continent, a country, a city size, but there's this area that is basically anarchist. It's anarchist by design, and it's medieval within there. That is the world that is how they choose to live, and they have kings and dukes, and it's almost like a legendary thing. People that go in there manage to survive. Some of them can even become legendary even. So Edmund is this medieval reenactor and blacksmith. That's what he does for fun. And then you've got Herzer. Herzer is a cripple. He's a cripple that there's something wrong, that they have difficulty even with their incredible technology. I mean, people can literally decide, you know what, tomorrow I want to be a dragon. So they use the nanites to literally rebuild their entire body, and they are dragons. People can use, the nanites are so strong, people will take vacations and go walk on the surface of the sun. It's insane. So Herzer's illness is some kind of debilitating illness that they are unable to figure out. He's a video gamer. He uses the full body virtual reality kind of stuff to be a video gamer, And the book kind of starts with Edmund's ex-wife being able to figure out, or wife, no, current wife, being able to figure out a possible experimental way, possibly of fixing Herzer, which she does. She does it. It actually succeeds. She rebuilds his body, and then the world goes to shit. So Herzer and Edmund are the two main characters. Herzer ends up being kind of like the uber warrior, while Edmund is the nobility and like master general in a way. So the plot of this is basically there's a council, and this council controls, there's 7 members, I believe, 7 or 9 members, an odd number of members. They control the keys to the AI that runs that runs all the nanites. And a certain subset of the council, a certain group of council members decide that the population is going downhill. I mean, the population of the planet has dropped into like the hundreds of millions instead of the billions, because again, there's no incentive for people to have children, basically do whatever they want. There's no need to work. There's no need to do anything except just live a hedonistic lifestyle. People might go years without even seeing another person because they're traveling in a space yacht, or they turn themselves into dolphins and they're in the bottom of the sea. It's gotten to that point. So this council decides that the only way to save humanity is to basically destroy civilization. So they use their keys and they use their votes, and they basically lock the world down. They take the nanites and they program the AI with certain commands, and it basically shuts everything down. It basically shuts down electricity, shuts down combustion. Any large-scale explosion is just immediately killed by the nanites, so there's no such thing as guns anymore. There's no such thing as internal combustion. Any sufficiently high level of compression, anything. So they're back into medieval times. They've got no power. They've got to relearn how to do everything. They have to work. All of a sudden, people have to work. We need farmers. We need builders. We need masons. We need blacksmiths. We need soldiers. Because this group also, as they do this, decide that they want to be in charge. So you've got your Dark Council, you've got the key holders, because those key holders still can access the AI and are able to do the advanced things. But some things require multiple votes. Some things are very small. For instance, a key holder is able to, say, operate. But they can't, say, rewrite basic code to stop all of this. And then they also have power issues, because as the key holders, as they splinter, they control power plants, and then and the amount of power available to do certain things starts to become a factor. So basically, you get almost your light side and your dark side. But because of this whole body modding and body shaping thing, you actually have elves. You actually have dragons. Not necessarily people. They have wyverns, which were just created just for fun and for racing, prior to this world going down. As far as the writing goes, John Ringo's writing is incredibly entertaining. He is a master at the military side of things, and not just like large-scale combat, large-scale tactics, but he's a master at the mindset of the soldier and the dark humor that we have. So his writing is very humorous. It's very humorous, it's very funny. Sometimes it's very expository, but it's not a boring type of expository. He manages to show how these characters are thinking, and he manages to even have them explain how they're thinking, and it's not boring, it's fascinating. It's fascinating to follow their trains of thought, and it makes total sense why they do some of what they do. So if you're a fan of military science fiction, if you're a fan of science fiction, if you're a fan of fantasy, you would absolutely love John Ringo's Here There Be Dragons. You've got to check it out. Thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.